Hey, I'm Matt Manning. Thanks so much for joining me for today's devotional thought about the most breathtaking places on earth. Can you imagine a stunning sunset or a beautiful vista for a sunrise on a beautiful morning where it's cool and crisp, to see the colors arrayed? We're going to talk today about some of the most stunning and most beautiful places, destinations on earth. Picture yourself in a wonderland of beauty and breathtaking landscapes, awe-inspiring sights that you think exist only in fairy tales. For us to do this, we're going to have to travel all around the world and find some of the most beautiful places. Our first stop is in China, the Zhangyi Dangxi Geopark. This popular spot for tourists and photographers is an Instagrammer's paradise to capture the rainbow of colors in yellow, red, and orange striped canyons. The sedimentary layers of rock provide a vivid, otherworldly backdrop to a beautiful panorama of eye-catching splendor. We're going to fly over Western Asia and Eastern Europe to the beautiful imagery of Venice, Italy. Known less for its natural beauty, this city is really known for the perfect place to connect the old world with vintage views of a new world comfort. We can walk the streets and ride in a gondola down the canals or pass through the arches of this undeniably romantic city. But we'll cross the Atlantic then and go to Canada's Banff National Park. The massive mountain provides a rugged backdrop to pristine, beautiful blue glacial lakes. Settle into a cozy lakeside cabin for a view of a lifetime. Then we'll head south to the ancient sites of Peru. Perched atop the eastern slope of the Andes mountain range is Machu Picchu that looks down on the Urubamba River far below. The terraced ancient Incan village covers 80,000 acres of buildings, fields, and gardens that were used for growing corn and potatoes. At an 8,000-foot elevation, Machu Picchu will literally take your breath away. We're going to go back across the Pacific Ocean to the continental island of Australia. Driving west from Melbourne along the coast, the scene unfolds to the seascape of the famous 12 Apostles formations. And then a short trip from there finds us feeding koalas in the Great Otway National Park, where we'll find us having lunch at an inviting seaside town of Lorne. A change of pace and a change of place leads us to a change in perspective. We've talked about this a little bit throughout these series of devotionals. As amazing as these sites may be all around the world, these are just a few of all the things that God has in creation for us to enjoy and for us to behold. And as amazing as these are, God painted these pictures and landscapes and created them for your good and for His glory, for your enjoyment and for His pleasure. Landscapes that are larger than life put us into perspective of how great God is and how grateful we should be. David knew about traveling to places beyond the reaches of most of society, as he spent many of his early years out on the backside of the highlands and of looking through deserts and oases, places for him to be able to take his herds and the sheep to find comfort, rest, food, and shelter. David's connection to this world crossed beyond creation to his Creator. His appreciation for creation leads us to a greater connection with our Creator as he writes for us in the Psalms of some of the most beautiful, picturesque poems of what David experienced in creation. When this connection happens with our Creator, we are moved within us to consider our finite place on this earth and our time even in history. It changes our attention to release the tension in our lives. And so maybe for you right now, you're going through something and you need a change of pace, a change of place, so that God can bring you a change in perspective. Our encouragement for today is this: that life can hinder us, but God, He can help us have a change of perspective when we step back and look at the beauty around us. For more encouragement, go to Psalm 121, verses 1 through 3, where David talks about, I look to the hills, that's where my help comes from. Hey, thanks so much for joining me for today's devotional thought.